Namaskar. We again have Professor Rana P.V. Singh ji with us, who has worked extensively on different aspects of Banaras or Kashi. He has published 6 books and 135 research papers and has given innumerable lectures on Varanasi in different parts of the globe. As he has already given a lecture on Introduction to the Ganga riverfront of Varanasi in the first part of the series, today he will be talking on the riverfront Ganga Ghats part 2. So, Professor Rana, kindly proceed.
Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to again continue this series on the riverfront Ganga Ghats. So just to link the first lecture, we have already discussed the importance of 108 and 84. 84, that is 12 into 7, the Kundalini Chakra in the time frame going on. And that's how that symbolizes 8.4 million organic species in Hindu cosmology. That's why 84 Ghats. So let me start with this. Now when we are going to talk about that, so starting from the south to north. The first introduction, when you try to see from Google or aerial photograph, you can see that whole river is bending like a curve. And that curve indicating from south to north. South is the realm of death, north is life. And first meeting point of that is Asi. There is a small drain called Asi Nadi, or nowadays we are calling it Nala, that meets at the point near that confluence point, what is called Asi Sangam to the river Gangaji. And here start the first concept of Ghat. Ghat means Ghat, contact point, two issues meeting together. This is small drain trying to link, demarcate the southernmost point. And that's why that became one of the important points, that is to start from the concept of Panchabhuta. So one of the bhutas is here. Asi means sword or big knife. So if one can cross this river going to the south, then the merit will be cut. That is the idea. This is the metaphorical idea about the Ghat. But the most commonly and famous story related to this place is related to Goswami Tulsidas, who died at this place in about 1620. So he was living here and completing his Ramacharitamanasa, the last part of the Ramacharitamanasa, he has completed at this particular site, so that this ghat became quite famous in that way. And there is a small temple which preserved some of the items used by Goswami Tulsidas. So this is important here. Two more things are here. Here Dohauli and Kavitauli, the two important texts written by Tulsidas ji. Generally we always talk Ramcharitmanas, but there are about 12 such texts. So that has been completed. An original manuscript, the first manuscript ever been recorded of Ramcharitmanasa, is preserved at the Asi Ghat. So that is the importance how it is made like this. Then the issue in physical context is Sangam, it means confluence point. So when the two points going to meet, Mother Earth and the river, the wetness and hardness together, that is called Asi Sangameshwara. It means Asi river meeting to the river Ganga, and then a point is going to be generated where Lord Shiva is going to dance or settle down. And that's why that particular temple, it is very small, looking like a shrine, but historically that is very important, that demarcate the southernmost point, that is Asi Sangameshwar. So whenever any pilgrimage journey performed, going towards south, here we perform Sankalp, taking the vow that, oh Sangameshwar Shiva, please bless us that we can perform that journey. So that is the important point. One more point related to this ghat is, there is a temple that is called Lakshmi Narayan Temple at Asi Ghat. That is of course 18th century, but this is a part of the palatial buildings built during 1840 to 1830, 30 to 60 you can say like that. There are 60 such buildings in whole Banaras, and this is unique building at this side. This is called Pancharatna. There are 5 spires. The center spire is high, and Panchadeva, 5 gods worshipped together, they are inside. So historically, it is not so much important in terms of rituals, but in terms of architecture, in terms of beauty, in terms of all the design, that is very important. So that is another aspect related to this. The next, if you can walk a little bit towards up. Next slide. So if you can walk just next to go. So this is just giving you, this slide is giving you the overall perspective back. If you go like this, so you can see this is the overall view. In the southernmost part, we are starting the journey. So this gives you the view that what we are talking about, Sri Sangameshwar, is just in the center. This is the fish eye view. The moment you can put fish eye view, this upper layer is just like Shivalinga. This is the way it is described in the text. When there was nothing like lens, but it has been described like this. So this is one side of his story is related to Goswami Tulsidas and then Lakshminarayan temple. But in the southern side, of course, not exactly at the Ghat, but close by to Ghat is Jagannath temple, which is the replica of Puri. And in the same way, the whole chariot procession, Rath Yatra, is performed at the same time and in miniature form. Of course, this yatra started in about 1720. So that is another aspect of this ghat is that here one side is Tulsidas tradition, other side is Odisha Rath Yatra tradition, and then comes medieval period, the late medieval period when the Renaissance started, how the Lakshminarayan temple is made. Okay? Next. That was the example of, you can see this is the example of Jagannath temple. So if right hand side, you can see the left hand side. So this was a whole stretch. And there were 3 ponds. So it is going Rukmini pond, Radha pond, then Lakshmi pond, and then you meet to the Narsimha. So one side you meet the Krishna with Rukmini and Radhaji, and then go at the end to Narsimha. So that is the 2 traditions it is going to be linked. This is the unique example. So if you are not referring this one, then you can't say what is the importance of a Ghat. So this is another aspect, and we are trying to put this whole complex as one example of heritage and cultural preservation of intangible heritage. So maybe in future we can inscribe in UNESCO. Okay, next. So overall view, now we have started from southern part, little bit walking, going up. So at the central point you can find a red square is there, and that indicate that area close by to Lolar Kund. Earlier the name of this ghat, what we call now Tulsi Ghat, that is Tulsi Ghat is just in memory of Tulsidas, and that was only in the late 17th century this had been mentioned. Then it became popular. But if you see the text, Puranic structure, this ghat is mentioned as Lolark Ghat. Lolark is related to sun god. Lol means the lip. So lip of a child, innocent child, it is looking like red, and that's why the name is Lol Ark. Ark means Surya. And this is in a way, if you can consider the earliest mythology related to Markandeya Purana, and long before even Skanda Purana, we find only 2 sites are mentioned in Banaras that is historically important. The southernmost site is Lolark Kunda, that how many divinities wanted to come here, settle down, nothing happened, the whole story going on, Devodas, so many such things going on. But ultimately what happened, that Surya came like innocent baby and then fallen in love with the beauty of this place. Then with the blessing of Devodas, he settled down, and that's why that place became very important. This is a steep well from the 3 sides, all having 64 steps in each side. The most important thing about this is exactly on the 14th of January, one can check the sunlight is coming straight, like making 90-degree angle there. We have measured this many times. And that's why this became very famous, that one side is sun as a father, the fire element, meeting with the wetness. That is Mother Ganga water going inner side and touching the Lolar Kund. That's why that became very famous that when the two energy, male energy, female energy, so fire, male, water, female meet together, then that germinate a special type of energy for pregnancy. And that's how that place became quite famous, that this is related to this type of cult, progeny cult. In course of time, we don't know when it started, but our guess is that the earliest type of ritualistic tradition started in Banaras region. Is still about 50 to 60,000 people during 1 day, 2 days. This recently just happened on 23rd of this particular month of the August. It happened. So, unfortunately, due to pandemic situation, that was whole area was blocked only from the outside people touch. Otherwise, military will be there to help and control, and people go take bath. Why that is important? First, you have to go for purification ritual at now Bhadani Ghat or Tulsi Ghat. They are part of the same old Lolar Ghat. And then having initiation, that is called Sankalpa. Then full ritual in the Lolar Kund. So in the Lolar Kund, you can perform all the rituals, take your vow, worship, then return back and then conclude your ritual at the Ghat. This way, that makes a small type of pilgrimage in this particular area. Two more important aspects are here. We find the prehistoric or earliest form of a Devi, that is now called Mahishasuramardini, but in fact that is Chamunda. That is, and Chamunda in primitive form, because we find two sisters, Maharunda, Chamunda. It is not like well-developed tantric, but you can say something tribal and tantric. That shrine is there, a very active shrine is there. And another shrine is there, a small shrine now covered with a house, Parashareshwar. That is a grandfather of Ravana. So that link is also there. So that indicates that this was very rich and strong tradition in this particular zone. One more shrine is here. That is related to, it is called Amareshwara. It is a replica of Amareshwar Nath in the Kashmir area. So that is made of the snow. So that is there in the way. And the structure has been made in a miniature form, that when they decorate with the cotton white, it looks like this is all snow made linga. So that is also linked together. So when we perform our pilgrimage journey, we started from the Asi Ghat, first taking bath, doing the ritual, going to Sangameshwar, then walk in the lane and going to all these shrines, and then return back again to the Asi Ghat under this holy ficus tree, and going to conclude that it is now finished like this. So this is the portion, the Asi Ghat and nearby area. It means start from southern part of Asi Ghat, going up to the Lolar Kund. This itself is called as Mini Kashi, Laghu Kashi. And there is a small temple little bit away from this area that is called Siddheshwar. So if you ask local old people, they say this is the second Vishwanathji. What is second Vishwanathji? This is our Vishwanathji. So this is a wonderful concept, that territorial control in a particular way, that you can feel that without going to original Vishwanath, here you can perform the journey. And that's why this whole area becomes something unique and important. They started from Asi Ghat, then Lolar, and little bit attached to this is what we call the Bhadaini Ghat. So this is now in a miniature form. There is a huge banyan tree and holy ficus, people and butt together. Our estimate is these are more than 1,000 years old. So that is also a type of, you can say, natural heritage there. And some of the monuments here and there remains, murtis here and there remain to there. Near this water pump is there, that the British has made 1869, the water pump, and still it is working. So that itself is a heritage. So one side you find all this religious structure, other side you find that later on addition, that all together that makes the whole cultural landscape something alive. So this is the importance of this particular area. Then we little bit further proceed, and then you find little bit blank. There are few steps you can find blank, and then you find that small temple that is called Janki Ghat. So that was built in 1930. So in a way you can say these are new additions, but it is not. In fact, what happened, there was a small shrine on the name of Janaki. And then the Darbhanga Naresh and those state people, they have built it and developed it. But originally that was already mentioned at Janaki Ghat. And according to folk tradition, that Janaki ji, the wife of Lord Rama, came here and performed the ritual. But okay, that has no textual tradition, but it has very strong belief like this. And that had steep steps like this. So that is the way that this patch, you can say, this is the first patch reaching up to that level. Then you further proceed and you can go to some other ghats and then find that how those rituals are going on. So let me say that we have to stop at this particular point, one block from Asi Ghat, reaching up to Bhadani Ghat. After that, you can say Anandamayi Ghat, due to Anandamayi Ashram, that is quite famous like that, and then we proceed further. So I think let me stop at this point and then we will start the next. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity for this particular part.
Thank you very much.
Special thanks to Jyoti ji, who is taking all the initiative and doing this task.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Organa ji.